The quaint town of Markham held its breath. Dennis Lloyd, its beloved benefactor, was dead. A man known for his generosity and warmth, Lloyd's passing sent shockwaves through the community. He was a self-made millionaire, his construction empire a testament to his grit and ambition. But beneath the veneer of success lay a tangled web of relationships, secrets, and a legacy poised to crumble. This is a story of betrayal, a tale woven in greed and a testament to the enduring power of truth. Lloyd's death was sudden, unexpected. A heart attack, the doctors declared. He left behind a vast fortune, a grieving family, and a town holding its breath. What unfolded in the wake of his demise was stranger than fiction, a maelstrom of legal battles, shocking revelations, and the unraveling of a carefully constructed facade. The whispers started subtly, like the rustling of autumn leaves, but soon grew into a cacophony of accusations and suspicion. Dennis Lloyd was a man of simple origins. He had arrived in Markham with nothing but ambition and a tireless work ethic. His construction company, Lloyd & Sons, had started small but grew rapidly, fueled by Lloyd's sharp business acumen and relentless drive. He was known for his hands-on approach, often seen on construction sites, hard hat in place, sharing a joke with his workers. He was a man of the people, or so it seemed. Lloyd's personal life was more complicated. His first marriage, to his childhood sweetheart, had ended in a bitter divorce. His second wife, a beautiful socialite named Veronica, was decades younger. Whispers of infidelity and ambition followed her like a shadow. Lloyd had 2 children, a son from his first marriage, Daniel, and a daughter with Veronica named Emily. The family dynamics were complex, a tangled web of resentment, ambition, and unspoken truths. The stage was set for a battle royale, the stakes nothing less than Lloyd's vast fortune. The reading of the will was a somber affair. Family, friends, and curious onlookers gathered in the grand living room of Lloyd's mansion. The air crackled with anticipation. The lawyer, a stoic man with steel-gray hair, cleared his throat and began to read. The terms of the will were shocking. Lloyd's entire estate, his businesses, properties, and fortune, were to be placed in a trust, managed by his lawyers. His family, his own flesh and blood, were to receive a meager monthly allowance. The room erupted in gasps and murmurs. Veronica, her face contorted in disbelief and fury, was the first to speak. This was preposterous. She was his wife, entitled to everything. Daniel, his face an unreadable mask, remained silent. The terms of the will were clear, but something felt amiss. It was as if Lloyd's voice, filled with bitterness and distrust, echoed from beyond the grave. A bombshell dropped. A second will surfaced, this one handwritten and signed by Lloyd just days before his death. This new will painted a very different picture. It revoked the previous will and bequeathed the entirety of Lloyd's estate to his daughter, Emily. The new will reeked of foul play. The handwriting seemed shaky, the signature almost a forgery. Suspicions swirled around Veronica. Had she manipulated her dying husband, using their daughter as a pawn in her game of greed? Daniel, fueled by a potent cocktail of grief and anger, vowed to fight for justice. He filed a lawsuit contesting the second will, accusing Veronica of forgery and undue influence. The legal battle commenced, a no-holds-barred fight for Lloyd's fortune. The media had a field day, painting Veronica as a gold-digging black widow, Daniel as a vengeful son, and Emily as a pawn in a game she didn't understand. The investigation into the second will intensified. Forensic experts were brought in to analyze the handwriting, the ink, the paper. Every detail was scrutinized, every witness questioned. The trial was a media spectacle. The courtroom was packed, the atmosphere electric with anticipation. Daniel and Veronica, their faces etched with a mixture of grief and animosity, sat on opposite sides of the aisle. Emily, caught in the middle of this maelstrom, seemed small and lost. The prosecution presented its case meticulously, highlighting the inconsistencies in Veronica's story, the suspicious financial transactions, and the damning forensic evidence. They painted a picture of a cold, calculating woman driven by greed and a complete disregard for her husband's true wishes. Veronica's defense team fought back, attempting to discredit the prosecution's witnesses and poke holes in their narrative. They argued that Daniel, estranged from his father and driven by resentment, was the one who stood to gain from discrediting the second will. They presented Veronica as a loving wife, devastated by her husband's death and simply trying to honor his final wishes. The courtroom became a battleground of accusations, denials, and half-truths. The tension in the courtroom was palpable as the trial progressed. The prosecution's star witness was Dr. Eleanor Vance, a renowned forensic document examiner. Dr. Vance, with her calm demeanor and sharp intellect, commanded the courtroom's attention. She presented her findings with clinical precision, dismantling the defense's arguments one by one. The handwriting analysis was conclusive. The signature on the second will was a forgery, a skillful imitation, but a forgery nonetheless. The ink used was not available commercially at the time the will was allegedly signed, further solidifying the prosecution's case. Dr. Vance's testimony was the turning point of the trial. The defense's case, already shaky, began to crumble under the weight of the forensic evidence. Their attempts to discredit Dr. Vance's expertise proved futile. She remained steadfast under cross-examination, her calm demeanor and irrefutable evidence dismantling the defense's arguments. The jury listened intently, their faces betraying a growing sense of certainty. The courtroom buzzed with whispered conversations during breaks in the proceedings. The tide seemed to be turning against Veronica. The evidence against her was mounting, and even her most ardent supporters struggled to reconcile her claims with the damning forensic findings. As the trial progressed, the emotional toll on Lloyd's family became increasingly apparent. Daniel, consumed by the pursuit of justice, seemed to have aged years in a matter of weeks. The weight of his father's legacy, the betrayal he felt, and the constant scrutiny of the media had taken their toll. He had entered this battle seeking justice, but it had come at a heavy price. Veronica, once a picture of poise and confidence, now appeared haggard and defeated. The strain of the trial, the relentless scrutiny of the public eye, and the mounting evidence against her had stripped away her carefully constructed facade. The once unwavering support of her stepdaughter, Emily, had wavered as the truth became increasingly difficult to ignore. The jury deliberated for 3 long days, 3 days of agonizing wait for both sides, the tension in the courtroom thickening with each passing hour. The fate of Lloyd's fortune, the question of Veronica's guilt, and the future of his fractured family hung in the balance. The jury's decision would have far-reaching consequences, not just for those directly involved, but for the very fabric of Markham itself. The verdict, when it finally came, was swift and decisive. Guilty. Veronica, her face ashen, listened as the jury foreman read the verdict, her gaze fixed on some distant point in the courtroom. The prosecution had proven its case. The second will was a forgery, and Veronica was the mastermind behind it. Justice, it seemed, had prevailed, but at what cost? The trial concluded, but the echoes of the betrayal reverberated through Markham. The town, once a symbol of innocence and small-town values, had been shaken to its core. The case of Dennis Lloyd's will became a cautionary tale, a stark reminder that greed and deceit could lurk beneath the surface of even the most idyllic communities. The trial had exposed the underbelly of Markham, revealing the dark secrets that some residents had long whispered about, but never dared to speak aloud. The idyllic facade had crumbled, leaving behind a community grappling with the fallout of a scandal that had shaken it to its core. The case also highlighted the crucial role of forensic science in modern legal proceedings. Dr. Vance's expert testimony, her ability to unravel the truth through the analysis of ink, paper, and handwriting, had been instrumental in securing justice. In the aftermath of the trial, Markham slowly began to heal. The whisper subsided, replaced by a quiet sense of reflection. The saga of Dennis Lloyd's will had left an indelible stain on the town's history, a stark reminder of the fragility of trust and the devastating consequences of greed. Life, as it always does, went on. Daniel, now at the helm of his father's company, worked tirelessly to rebuild Lloyd & Sons, striving to restore its reputation and honor his father's legacy. Emily, scarred but not broken by the ordeal, sought solace in her studies, determined to forge her own path in the world. The case of Dennis Lloyd's will became a tale whispered in hushed tones, a cautionary reminder of the darkness that could lurk beneath the surface of even the most idyllic communities.